that bespeaks a profound lack of success, not a cosmic nirvana achievement. And so we like to see people on the land. So that's the answer. And all that being said, we do lose some to predators. Not very many, but some. But it's a loss we're willing to accept for all the benefits that we get from them, and frankly, the enjoyable life that they live. Some people say, well, that's animal abuse to let them be eaten by a predator. Well, okay, so we're all going to put them in a concentrated animal feeding operation, and where they're all going to get sick. We can give them all antibiotics to try to keep them alive, and they're going to get salmonella and listeria and E. coli and whatever. Actually, I think I'd rather risk the predators with a good life and a little bit of what good is life without risk? I mean, what you can't have freedom without risk. You know, if all of us decide to have a risk-free existence, we'll all go live in a straitjacket in a bubble somewhere. You know, don't drive home. That's risky, right? So, but please drive home. Take the risk.
Those chickens, Barred Rocks and...
All right, we got, the breeds we use are Rhode Island Reds, Barred Rocks, New Hampshire Reds are the kind of golden ones, and then Black Astrolorps are the black ones. These are all non-hybrid birds. They're traditional American varieties. They don't lay as well as the hybrids, but they're less fragile. They're smarter, and believe me, a chicken needs all the brains she can get. And they are, they're less fragile. They cake, because obviously we do have weather situations here. And so we need a smart, vital chicken. So we use the old American varieties. The other thing is that they lay just enough fewer eggs that they don't cannibalize their body to keep up with their production. These hybrids lay so prolifically that they actually cannibalize the calcium out of their skeletons to keep up with the prolific egg production. And it doesn't, to me, it's just intuitive that a bird that's having to cannibalize her body to keep up with her egg production cannot pack as much nutritional integrity in that egg as a bird that's not having to cannibalize her body structure to keep up with her production.
What's the life of these chickens? And
these birds,
where do they go? What takes place when they're finished?
Yeah, they go for 2 years, and at the end of their second year of production, after the summer equinox, the longest day in the summer, which is June 21. After June 21, we'll take those 2-year-old birds and begin dressing them, because they'll start to drop off in production. And we dress those and sell them as stewing hens. And if you want something that really makes broth and tastes like nothing you've ever had, stewing hens. See, the industry doesn't even have stewing hens hardly anymore, because they're so spent that they're only good for, you know, dog food and Campbell soup. So,
Campbell soup.
so we sell these, and we actually have customers now who don't want the young broilers; they want the old stewing hens. You can't cook them fast; they're tough. You know, the old chicken and dumplings idea. But the way Teresa cooks them is she'll put 7 or 8 of them in a great big roaster pan, 350 for 4 hours, and then we pick all the meat off. Cuts it up with scissors, puts it in quart containers, freezes it. Now you've got pre-cooked, boneless chicken. 4 o'clock, you know, company for dinner, whatever. Boom, you know, in 30 minutes you got chicken a la king. It's all ready to go. You got a wonderful casserole, and you're ready to go. And of course, she pours the broth off and freezes that as well, so she's got the broth and all that. So, you know, that's our favorite, but certainly, you know, you can cook them. You just can't cook them fast.
Is your market developed to support? You have somebody to buy them all?
Do we have somebody to buy them all?
I mean, in other words, do you sell as many as you produce?
The stewing hens?
Yes.
Oh yeah. We've got even a couple of restaurants that'll take, you know, 10 or 12 a week, every week, as long as we have them.
Right.
Yeah. And we had to cultivate that market. You know, 20 years ago, we had to, what's a stewing hen? Nobody ever heard of it, you know. So for a year, we actually gave away one for every purchase over 50 bucks or something like that to introduce them, and we never gave away another one. And so, those are the investments you make, when you have something new to acquaint people with them. But yeah, they're a wonderful, wonderful addition.
How do you teach those hens to lay the eggs in the house, or do you have a daily?
Great question. Yeah, great question. You can really tell the people that have worked with, they got these real, they're looking, let me see. All right. So here's the deal. First of all, we do not use a chicken out here that's not laying. The only way to get the nesting instinct strong enough to return to that egg mobile is if you have a laying chicken. Doesn't work for other, if they're not laying, they don't have a routine, beacon strong enough, to tie them to that. Yeah, they just soon wander who knows where. So we've got to have laying chickens. All right, so what we do is the first day they come out, we put them in and we lock them in. They're not happy. Okay, we lock them in for the first day. They've got to lay in there. We put water in there. The feed's in there.
But how old?
How old?
Start them in there.
Doesn't matter as long as they're laying. We don't put them in unless they're laying. Okay. Lock them in for a day. All right. Next morning, first thing, daybreak, open the door, let them out. Well, about 10 o'clock, they're got to go lay this egg. And so they go looking for where they laid it yesterday, which is up inside. So what you want that first day, you want them to go up and down that ramp a couple times. All right? Here's the most critical thing. The very first night, then we come out with rain suits and a long pole, a bamboo stick or something, sit underneath, and don't let them settle down underneath as it starts to get dark. Now, they instinctively don't want to come out in the field because they feel vulnerable. They do have that much brains. So they look around for a place to go in. And so we just smack them away, don't let them settle down underneath. And the first night, usually at least... Oh, Spider. Good friend. All right. Thank you. The first night, usually 3/4 of them will go in. Okay, so you have to catch a couple hundred that first night, all right? Second night, they'll all go in, but maybe 20 or 30. Third night, they all go in, but maybe 5. Fourth night, they all go in, you're done for the season. So that's how you train them. Now, the most critical thing to remember is, I don't care if your mother dies, I don't care if you're having a baby, whatever happens, don't neglect the first night. If you say, well, we're not going to go out this night, we'll catch them the second night. We'll do the second night. You just bought yourself an extra 7 days of training. It's a great lesson for life, all you parents with little kids. If you think you're going to wait to do your disciplining at 5 years old, you just lost 5 years. You just lost the whole life. So anyway, start early. That first little defiance, when they learn how to express their will, which is very early, by the way. You get on it early,
Okay, so
and you'll buy yourself some freedom later on in life. Yes.
okay, so if you wait until they're laying, which is what, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, 5 months.
So where were they before that?
Before that.
Yeah, they're not on pasture before that, or?
You'll see some over in the portable broiler shelters.
Okay.
There are some in that top hoop house right now with the shade cloth over it. Those are ready to start laying within 2 weeks. They're going to start laying in about June 1st, and they'll be out shortly right there about that time.
Okay, but you wait for this setup.
Yeah,
till they're
yeah.
laying.
Okay, let's talk about cows. We got to talk about cows here. I apologize for the cows not being all right here where we can see them. They're down in these trees today, which, about twice a year, 3 times a year, we come through here just to kind of keep the brush down and stuff. So, but we're standing here, obviously, where they've just been, and you can see, let's walk right over here so you can see better.
I'm not going to step in the big piles, Daniel. I read in that Harvey Guthrie book that,
Okay. If you look behind me over my shoulder, you can kind of see, let's see, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 days ago, the cows were in this paddock. 5 days ago, into that next one. You kind of see that triangle there? See that green strip? 5 days ago, in the next one. 4, then they were down the bottom of the hill, blah, blah, blah. They just move around. So we move the cows every day using portable electric fencing to a fresh spot. They say, well, why in the world would you go to that effort? All right, let me explain it to you. Grass grows. This is a solar collector. All right, this is a solar collector. It's the most efficient solar collector ever designed. It converts solar energy into biomass, into carbon, okay? Now this plant grows in a sigmoid curve, also known for those of you who have not taken calculus as an S curve, okay? And see my S? I know it, you know, a Z, this is an S, trust me, okay? It's just hard to make the stem bend, all right? An S curve. All right, down here I call this diaper grass. It's infant diaper grass, okay? Growing slowly. Right here between my hands, this fast middle of the S, I call that teenage grass. Okay? Look how fast it's growing relative to time. Out here, I call that nursing home grass. Okay? Now, if my job is to manage the biomass so that it metabolizes the greatest amount of solar energy into decomposable carbon, which drives the entire, regenerative soil building earth cycle, of these 3 areas, where do I want to keep the grass most of the time? Exactly, right in that teenage period. If I overgraze it all the time, keep it down here, it just stays real short and tiny and can never build up a head of steam. If I let it go too long and don't graze it or mow it, then it just turns brown, goes into senescence, into dormancy, and again, the photosynthetic activity shuts down. The solar cell, the solar conversion quits. So, nature does this with herbivores and predators and flies, which move the herds forward away from yesterday's graze and toilet area. Okay? If you study herbivores in nature, from a bison in North America to, wildebeest on the Serengeti, Cape buffalo in Botswana, reindeer in Lapland, whatever, okay. If you study them, you notice 3 things. One is they're always moving. They don't stay in one place. They're moving, all right? That allows the forage to recuperate and go through this growth. Second thing is they're mobbed up. You look at those nature things, you see those wildebeest in 1 million head on the Serengeti. Well, they've got who knows millions of acres to be in, and they're all mobbed up. They're all tight. Why? Why don't they just all spread out and each take their half acre of land? Why? Predators. Because the camera pans over into the bushes and there's a leopard, a cheetah, a tiger, a lion, right? Sure, so it's the predator that keeps them mobbed up. And that mobbing up has a dramatic effect on their interaction with this biomass. First of all, what it means is that they walk randomly. Okay? So that because they're so tight that they're just kind of making their way. They can't sit here and pick their little spots to walk in. Okay? So what that means is that what doesn't get eaten just gets hoof shredded into the soil surface, where the microorganisms can contact it in little bits and pieces to incorporate it in the soil. Second thing that mobbing does